Welcome to the Weekly D. I'm Neeraj.
I'm Jason, and what will our weekly D discuss today?
And I'm Hayden, and today in our D, we will be discussing the ideas of Louis Althusser with regard to his backlash against tradition in modern thought. We will also be referencing the work of another anti-intellectual thinker, Richard Hofstadter.
Althusser had revolutionary ideas of how societies tend to shape individuals' ideas. In addition, he held Marxist views of how societies perpetuated the idea of class inequality.
We're specifically deconstructing his concept of schooling as an agent of socialization and how it makes those of the lower classes more susceptible to the sway of anti-intellectualism.
People generally consider schools to be a place that helps students rise in the world and overcome their present condition. However, Althusser argues that schools make students more accepting of their current societal position.
He proposes that this idea is ingrained into students at an early age so that they would not know what real freedom is, and would accept the oppression and capitalism brings to the working class.
Because of this, he states that schools are merely an instrument that the higher classes use to prevent the working class from realizing their true power and to make them more susceptible to manipulation.
This system ends up perpetuating the current order of things, and is one of many ways in which society uses anti-intellectualism to maintain the status quo.
Hofstadter agrees with this sentiment, saying that the student was treated not as a mind to be developed, but as a citizen to be trained.
Hofstadter also says that high schools have become a quasi-custodial institution made for the sake of dumbing down students, thus agreeing with Althusser that schools are not doing what many believe they do.
Both of these social theorists have come to the conclusion that the school system, instead of making students more critical in their thought, actually serves the anti-intellectual impulses of society, making them more complacent and obedient.
However, Hofstadter believes that schools can be improved so they do not instill anti-intellectualism to such a degree, while Althusser believes in the destruction of the current social order so that students are not influenced by class struggle, and the workers become more educated about their position in society.
This differentiates between the two concepts and how each concept possesses a different approach to solve the problem.
So, what do you guys think about Althusser's point about schools?
I think schools have become anti-intellectualistic dens that focus on training students to a specific job and preparing them for the working class. This system omits real-world knowledge in order to only drive students towards fulfilling a laboring position. There is some validity to this point because even schools today are primarily focused on preparing us for the working class. However, the whole system does not have to be radically reformed, as schools still provide knowledge that can be applied to reality.
I think that he's right about schools to a certain point. They're not trying to educate us, but are just trying to prepare us for the world ahead. This is not the primary purpose of schools, in my opinion. Even in Georgia Tech, I see this when a lot of my CS advisors say that you guys are at a great university and will get a great job. So I do agree with Althusser with the point of preparing us for our spot in society. But I believe that we can better our spot in society by having a better education.
I personally would agree that it is in the favor of the powerful for schools to be anti-intellectual institutions, but the degree to which they are directly responsible is questionable. I believe that the use of rhetorical fallacies and anti-intellectualism in politics is more a result of politicians adapting to circumstance and reflects a failing of schools to instill rational thought in students more so than a failing of society as a whole.
So we all think that he is right about how we are getting prepared for our spot in society.
Yeah, I think we all agree that the education system isn't doing an efficient job of educating kids. But we all don't agree on the reasoning why the education system isn't doing its job. We don't believe that the government's going to get us.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I think the real reason why the educational system doesn't help people think critically is because it's just not valued by our leaders and cannot be widely enforced. This isn't because of any premeditated action, but simple negligence from those previously in power.
Yeah, this was great. See you guys next week on the Weekly D!